What is up, guys? Zaid here, and today I've got a little bit of a weird deck profile for you. This is not anything close to meta, as you could tell by the first card in the list being a Gemini Elf, but this is a deck that I played against a guy on Dueling Book with, and he was kind enough to send me the list, and I've made a couple changes, but I thought it was a really fun deck, so I figured I'd go over it real quick. The main objective of the deck is like you play a lot of anti-meta floodgates, things like Secret Village, Macro, Soul Drain, Skill Drain, Lose a Turn, like a bunch of stuff that just tells your opponent they can't play the game. But then you also have the vanilla package, so you can use this Phantasm City Field spell, which lets you search either of these traps, which I'll go more into detail as I get to them. But if you enjoy this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Come back for more, and let me know what you think of this deck. To start, we got a 3 Gemini Elf, 3 Dragon Pulse Magician, and 1 Neo the Magic Swordsman. The reason that these are the vanillas opted for in this list are because of their typing and their stat line. They're all spellcaster, and these are the highest attack spellcaster vanilla monsters that there are. I don't know why he opted for 7 in particular as the magic number. I'm assuming that 8 was too many, 6 was too little, but I didn't really see much reason to change it, so I kind of just also left it at 7. And then for the spells, there is a Dimensional Fissure, a Terraforming, and a Set Rotation. The Terraforming and Set Rotation search targets are Pacifist, the Phantasm City, and Secret Village of the Spellcasters. Secret Village is the reason for these guys being spellcaster vanilla monsters. If you opted not to play this card, then your possibilities are endless on your vanillas, because you could play this and then play spellcasters to have that type of floodgate, or like you could play, I don't know, like an example would be Beast Warrior. You could play Beast Warrior ones, then you could play tanky, and then you could play the XYZ that searches tanky. Like there's you could play light ones so that you could use other like Bujin Tsukiyomi. There's just like whatever extra deck cards or floodgates that are type related you could think of that you'd want to play, you could switch the vanillas out and then switch those cards out. And then this Pacifist, though, this card, I think it is once per turn, if you normal or special summon one normal monster, you can add a Phantasm Spiral card from your deck to your hand. And the targets for that are these 3 Spiral Battle and 2 Spiral Power. Battle is a Raigeki Break, I think. Yeah, if all monsters you control are normal monsters, target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. And then Spiral Power is, I believe, like an imperm. Let me find. All monsters you control are normals. Target an effect monster your opponent controls. It loses 1,000 attack and defense, and also its effects are negated. And if you have the field spell activated, you can use these cards from hand too. So if you search one on your opponent's turn somehow, you can just add them to hand and use them straight from the hand. It's kind of cool. This field spell also, I think if your opponent activates a card or effect and you control no tokens, you could special summon a token, which then lets you summon a token out on their turn, search one of these 2 cards, and then activate these cards because you control a normal monster, and you what's it called? You have the field spell. So it's really cool. It's just like it can search and negate every turn, including their turn, which is kind of freaking powerful. And then for the draw cards, there's a lot of them. Card of Demise. There's a pretty low monster count, so almost everything in your hand you can either activate or set. Then Card of Demise, draw 3. 3 Duality, 3 Extrav, and 2 Prosperity. The extra deck is not very important in this deck. Like most of the time, one thing that I learned when playing this deck actually is that a card like Gem-Knight Pearl, for example, is not a normal monster. It's a non-effect monster. So even though you have access to extra deck cards that are non-effect monsters, they're still not normal monsters. So if you go into them, it turns certain cards off, like these. If you control Gem-Knight Pearl, you don't control a normal monster, you control a non-effect monster. So you're not often wanting to actually use the extra deck, even though the monsters have no effect. So it's pretty fine to just like banish them. The extra deck only like comes up very situationally, like if there's something you really can't out, or if you're using a certain card to push for game or whatever the case may be. But then for the traps, 3 Judgment and then 3 Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi, which is basically Judgment if you control only normal monsters. But also, if the set card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you could special a non-effect monster from your extra deck, which hasn't came up for me yet, but it could come up if like it's your only set card and they Feather Duster you, and you're like, you know what, I could negate it and it do nothing really, or I could let it die and give me a free card. But this card also, unlike Judgment, negates monster effects. It doesn't stop summons, it stops effects, which can come up. And then one Metaverse, one Skill Drain, one Macro, one Soul Drain, one Lose One Turn, and then the 5 traps we already went over. These cards are just your floodgates, blow the opponent out of the game. The extra deck, this extra deck is what I changed a little bit from the list that the guy sent me. I play a Tornado Dragon because I just want to be able to out back row. Gemknight Pearl, 2 Trap Tricks, or Perform Age Trapeze Magician. This card's actually really important. You maybe should play 3 because it's a spellcaster. So if there's a big threat you can't get over with your vanillas, you can overlay them into this while you have Secret Village and Secret Village still be active. This card also can target itself to attack twice. Next, 2 Zeus. I feel like Zeus is insane. You want to play this in any deck that plays extra deck, that plays rank 4s or any rank anything. Dweller and Baguska from Floodgates in the extra deck in case you don't draw any of your Floodgates. And then Cerberus for removal. Natis in case your opponent is playing what's it called? I forget the name of it, but the Dogmatica Maximus, that's the name. That sends 2 cards from each player's extra deck to the grave. Playing Natis lets you send it, get a pop. And then Imduk to make out of your normal monsters. Link Spider, Lanfrincus, Draco Masters of Tenyi, and then Gaia Saber. And then for the side deck, 3 Lava Golem to out combo. Godarla for the same reason. He played the Godarla. I don't know why it's not like a Gamma Seal. I should have asked him actually, but I forgot to. I'm going to drink some water real quick. Make sure you stay hydrated if you're watching. And then Dimension Shifter at 3. This is just like your Macro Cosmos and your Di-Fi, but it's a hand trap, so you can do it when they're going first. 2 Galaxy Cyclone for back row deck, or Galaxy Cosmic Cyclone for back row decks. 1 Necro Valley as another floodgate that you can search with Terraforming and Set Rotation. The other 2 Soul Drain, and then 3 Wiretap for back row decks. So if you've played a deck like this, or if you haven't and just think you have any suggestions on it, let me know. I haven't played it too much, and I kind of think it's an interesting concept. It's clearly like, it's not a meta deck, it's not format breaking, but if anyone has any cool improvements or ideas to make it even more competitive, and if you have a cooler idea on how to utilize the normal monsters besides just spellcasters for Secret Village, like if you can think of any normal monster typing that might be more beneficial, let me know that also. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and a comment to signify that you enjoyed it. Subscribe, and I'll catch y'all later.